piece with you with screen share so that we would be on the same line, same page actually. So uh, let us have a look at this poem, this abstract or uh, extract from Essay on Man. And this has been adapted from, this has been taken from Canto 2, or we can say Epistle 2. There are 4 epistles. There are 4 letter letter things, or poem written in the form of a letter. That is what an epistle is. Um, and this is from Canto 2, where Pope understands uh, humans as individuals. Where, what can an individual do? What are the strengths and weaknesses of an individual? So on and so forth. And it was first published in 1733-34, and it was supposed to be a part of a larger work, but the larger work, even if it was completed, is not available to us, so it's just a standalone piece of poem that we find here. So actually, Essay on Man has 4 parts, and we are going to deal with only a small part of a part, so a part of a part. And here, as I said, we might deal with what is an individual, the individual's definition, or what makes an individual is being talked about here. We will do good to remember that in the neoclassical society, in the neoclassical age, the individual was not the same individual as in the Elizabethan or in the Romantic age. Okay. An individual was um, something in relation only to the society. But let's go into the text and read it. I hope all of you have the text. If someone does not have the text, let me know. Only then I will share the screen. Otherwise, I don't want to share the screen.
Yes, sir, we have the text.
Okay, all right. So let's dive into it. Okay. So the very beginning of the text is presumptuous man. So man here is being chided, scolded by the poet, that man is presumptuous. We often presume a number of things. We assume a number of things about the universe, about the nature of the world, about everything and anything. We are a species that bases their life on assuming. We think we are very clever, and we start assuming things about things very quickly. The reason wouldst thou find, why formed so weak, so little and so blind? So we think we are very powerful, we think we are very strong, we think we are very intelligent, we are adaptable, and we can do anything if we like. We are the masters of the nature, so on and so forth. But here Pope says that the reason wouldst thou find. Can you find the reason as to why humans have been born so weak, formed so weak? Why weak? Because we do not have the strength of a number of animals who are known for their great strength. We are little, we are not as big as many animals which are known for the strength, or uh, bigness or size, and so blind. Our eyesight fails. Um, we cannot see in the dark, or we cannot see further than maybe 6 or 7 meters. I mean, we can see, but we are not very sure of what we are seeing. Okay, and many of us wear spectacles, including me. And if you take away the spectacles, I won't be able to read a lot of things which are like maybe 2 or 3 feet away from me. So that's why here Pope is making fun, or Pope is trying to understand, or he's trying to tell us that we are weak, we are little, and we are blind. But this is not just about our physical attributes. We are mentally also weak. We are little, as in our we are narrow minded people, and we are blind, as in we are blind in terms of superstition. We are blind in terms of um, faith. We are blind to the plight of other people. And here Pope waxes philosophical. He is talking in the paradigm of not just physiology, which is a paradigm in the poem because we are talking about man, but we are also talking in the paradigm of philosophy. Even if we do not compare ourselves with big, strong animals which have great eyesight, we are weak within ourselves. We are little within ourselves, and this little is also a reference, perhaps also a reference to Pope himself, because Pope was short of height. He was not very tall. I think he was 4'11", because he had a hump. He bent. He was bent. Sorry. There was a. I think he suffered from some kind of a disease, and he was not very tall. In that case, we can also say that he is bringing into reference Milton, who was like literally blind. But I think this focuses more on the weakness, narrow mindedness, and blindness of human beings, uh, not in terms of animals only, but within themselves also. So, next line. First, if thou canst the harder reason guess, why formed no weaker, blinder, and no less? So, he's asking a question. Which is a philosophical question, that first, if thou canst the harder reason guess. So there is a harder reason, there is a philosophical reason as to why we are born weak, we are formed weak, little, and blind. Why formed no weaker, blinder, and no less? But some people will argue that it is our strength, our height, or our gait, our volume, or our eyesight, all depends are here in relation to something else. We are weaker but stronger also. We have a greater vision than other animals, and we are no less in terms of the strength of our mind, or we are more powerful we are more muscular, we are more we are a giant to some animals. So it's all about with what are we compared with. But the harder reason is more difficult to refute than the easier reason. I mean, if we are being compared physically with animals, with other beings, then we are weaker, or we are blinder, or we are uh, something that. Just a minute, give me a minute. Okay, there was a call. Anyway, so but uh, if we compare ourselves with other smaller animals, then we are not weaker, we are not blinder, and we are no less than other animals. Okay, so uh, next line. Ask of thy mother earth why oaks are made taller or stronger than the weeds they shade. So we have to ask Mother Nature, we have to be reasonable and ask as to why we we are like shorter, or we are like weaker, because in nature also there are stronger, so called stronger, and so called weaker things, because oaks are made taller or stronger than the weeds which bloom under the shade uh, of the oaks. Okay, so or ask of yonder urgent fields above why Jove's satellites are less than Jove. So argent fields above, I think argent is reference to the ethereal, or the airy, or the universal things have been referred to here. Or ask of yonder argent fields above. So we can ask the astrophysical, we can ask the uh, extraterrestrial world as to why Jove's satellites are less than Jove. Jove here is Jupiter. Okay, Jove is another name of the Roman god Jupiter, or Jupiter can be associated or equated with Zeus. So anyway, I mean, Jupiter is a planet, and planets have satellites. So, and these satellites are lesser than Jupiter. I mean, of course, Moon is smaller than Earth. Then why is Moon smaller than Earth? Why aren't they of the same size? Or why is not Moon, which is a satellite, bigger than Earth? Um, so this also shows uh, Pope's range, because we can find that Pope is talking about astrophysics, and Pope is not really astrophysics. I mean, let's not complicate it. It's basic geography. We have all learnt about these things in our geography classes. We did not read books on astrophysics. I don't know if you have. So, but it shows that he is quite learned, and though he does not tell about the number of the satellites, but he says that the Jupiter is of course bigger than its her satellite, and all the planets which have satellites uh, are bigger than their satellites. So why is this so? um, of systems possible, if it's confessed that wisdom infinite must form the best. So Pope is trying to give a reason behind all of this, that when it was considered by God that he is thinking about he is trying to create systems, then he thinks or he realizes that he confesses that even for him and even for the world right now and even for God or nature, whatever created everything, wisdom infinite must form the best. So whatever is wise should be formed into a system. That wisdom infinite must form the best. So the wisdom, whatever is wise, should be the one which should form any systems, or the wisdom should be at the core of all systems. Okay, and infinite wisdom could only be of God. I mean, common people cannot have infinite wisdom. So the infinite wisdom that is being talked about here is the scheme of things, because unlike modern philosophers, or unlike even Thomas Hardy, I think Pope believed that there was a system in the universe. Like the universe is logical, that everything occurs because of a particular reason. According to the neoclassical worldview, everything was, or everything had a reason, and that reason was attributed to God, because God is infinitely wise, and hence he has created this world maybe in his image, and he is logical, so is the entire universe, where all must full or not coherent be, and all that rises rise in due degree. So where all must full or not coherent be, and that all rise in due degree. So whatever is bigger is bigger because of some reason, or whatever is smaller because of some reason. Of course, Pope never read the theory of evolution propounded by Sir Charles Darwin, and he did not know that what he is writing some 120 years ago will be proved true by a scientist. Okay, that rise in due degree. So there is a degree, there is a reason, there is a logic behind whatever is big, whatever is bigger, whatever is small, whatever is smaller. And were almost full. Either you have to be full, either you have to do something according to whatever strength, whatever quality you have got for yourself. So you work according to your quality. Okay, everybody in this world has some quality, something that is unique about you, or unique about people have their own unique things about themselves. So you can do the best with what you have got, where all must fulfill one's uh, evolutionary duty, or not coherent be. But if you are not doing what you are supposed to do, what you are capable of doing, then you will become incoherent. You will be a freak if you do more than what you can do, or you deliberately do not do what you can do. Okay, so you'll be incoherent, you will be a puzzle to social scientists. Or if you are biologically enhanced, if you are a mutant, then the scientific community will not be able to understand your role, or why are you here. So then, in the scale of reasoning life, it's plain there must be somewhere such a rank as man, and hence Pope concludes that since this is so, since there is a ranking, there is a reason for everything that exists, there must be a reason as to why even human beings have been created. Because you are going to have an extract from Gulliver's Travels. And in Gulliver's Travels, if you have read Gulliver's Travels already, though you are going to read an extract from book 4, in Gulliver's Travels, in book 2, Gulliver is making fun of the human stature, or Jonathan Swift, who is known as a misanthrope, is saying that we are an aberration, that human beings are useless. Human beings do not have any reason to live on this earth. We don't deserve the position that we are in. And he was talking anatomically, he was talking in terms of physical strength, or um, or a he was talking from the perspective of physical strength or physical attributes, whether we can run fast or we can dig holes and go inside the earth whenever we face some kind of threat, etc. And I think Gulliver's Travels was published in 1726, and this is published in 1733-34. I'm sure that Pope had read Swift's Gulliver's Travels, and he must have come across these lines, and maybe, just maybe, I am just conjecturing, and I think this is so, that Pope might be answering to that there is a reason as to why human beings are here, and it is not, we are not an aberration, we are not put here only out of the whim of nature or God, whoever has created us, but we have a function. No, Orchok, I think it will only be an extract, not the whole novel, and I think the extract will be from book 4, um, Voyage to Winim. So Pope, when he says this, that so there is a reasoning, there is a scale of reasoning, and from that scale of reasoning, it is plain, it is clear that man deserves the position in which man is. But he was writing some 200 years or more ago, or less ago, and what, as human beings, we have done to the earth, as human beings, what we have done to the nature is abominable. And if Pope was writing today, or if Pope were to come back and see what's going on, he might still say that the reason, there is a reason behind the appearance of earth on appearance of man on earth, and that reason might be the destruction of earth, the destruction of all other creatures. Maybe we are the virus, maybe we are the planet-wise destructive event, because truly we are killing off so many species of insects, birds, animals, fish, so on and so forth. We are destroying life. So is it for this that we were brought? Is it for this that God or nature had planned that these creatures will, do something like this? Or have we deviated from our path uh, by due to greed, avarice, ego, and these kinds of things? Well, that is a philosophical question. Anyway, and all the question, wrangle ever so long, is only this: if God has placed him wrong. Well, I think 200 years later, Pope has the answer that Pope would have had the answer. Like Pope would have realized, or he would have had understood that yes, God was pretty wrong when he created us, he or she created us, because we don't deserve this. I mean, I personally believe that humans are a disease on the earth. We have destroyed everything that was beautiful, including each other. I mean, if we were beautiful, if we were good, if we were um, supposed to do something good, then it's the other human beings which interfere, or which uh, put a spanner in the plans of people who are good, and we try to destroy um, whatever is good in nature. So the question that Pope asks here, that was it wrong if God has placed him wrong? And we can wrangle with this question forever. We have been wrangling, we have been tackling, we have been thinking about this forever, that why are we here? What is our function? Some people would believe that our function is to kill everything that nature has created, or our role is that of the role of destroyer, and we are here only to destroy this planet. Respecting man, whatever wrong we call, may must be right as relative to all. Respecting man, so if we respect ourselves, if we do not go the misanthropic way of Jonathan Swift, if we respect ourselves, then whatever wrong we call, so whatever wrong we are doing, may must be right. May must be right. So it could be, and then he reinforces it that it must be correct as relative to all, because in relationship to other things, everything is right or wrong. So if you are doing something right, or if you are doing something wrong, it is only in relationship to something righter and wronger. We are always in relationship, we are always in a kind of a um, relativist position with everything else. So whatever is wrong might be right for someone else, whatever is right might be wrong for someone else or something else. But I don't know if Pope already got the bigger picture, that uh, at one point in time you cannot justify your actions by saying that okay, there must be greater wrong that someone else is doing. Like whoever among you have been caught by maybe the ticket examiner, or maybe your mother or father, you are doing something wrong, you're you're doing some mischief, and your mother or father catches you red-handed in the act, and you say that your brother or your sister had done the same a few seconds ago, why don't you catch him or her also? So this argument we put forward that if the ticket examiner catches us without a ticket, then you say that so many other people have gone without tickets, and you are after me. What wrong? Why have you chosen me to punish? I don't think uh, the ticket examiner chooses you particularly, but it's a random act and you get caught. Or your mother or father, your parents, do not have any agenda against you for punishing you, but the thing is that you were there at the wrong place at the wrong time. um, Human beings, I won't say all of them, but many of them, I would say most of them, are either insensitive to the problems that human beings have created for themselves, or do it deliberately. I mean, which other animal in this, I don't know, in this universe itself, has this ability to kill the individuals of its own species en masse? Like, uh, India can throw a nuclear missile on Pakistan and kill, I don't know, the whole Pakistan, maybe, 5 nuclear missiles, that would do. And Pakistan and China can throw nuclear missiles at India and can obliterate India from the map of the earth. That way, 2 billion people would be gone. Which other animal has this capacity? And how can you justify this capacity? Why on earth do we do this? There is, I mean, of course, you must understand that Pope is writing before the two world wars, and Pope might not have seen the war between man and man, between mankind and mankind, up close and personal. But he is trying to defend, he is trying to put forward a reason, he is trying to put forward a uh, an argument, a justification, that if we are right, if we are wrong, then our right and wrong is relative to everything else. Okay, we are not right individually, we are not right in ourselves only, and we are not wrong in ourselves only. So, but which actions of other animals, which actions of other beings should we take into account when we think, when we are assuming that the human activities can be explained away, can be justified in relationship to something else? As I told you already that this is a philosophical poem, there are various difficult questions that Pope raises. In human works, though labored on with pain, 1,000 movements scarce one purpose gain. So, in human works, what humans do is that, though labored on with pain, so we do a lot of activities where a lot of we labor, take up a lot of pain. We do something very painfully. We are very we do a lot of hard work to do a number of things. Um, 1,000 movements scarce one purpose gain. So, to gain just one purpose, to gain just one thing, uh, we make thousands of movements. We move around a lot. We work very hard only to fulfill one purpose, just one. Because, say, suppose I want to get a job in West Bengal, a government job, So you must be uh, laughing, but laughing in a dark way. It's a kind of a black comedy that okay, we are not. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult, and all our energy, all our strength, our intelligence, our knowledge, we will use to get a rank somewhere in the examinations and stuff. And all these movements, all this effort is for what? To gain one purpose, to gain just one thing at a time. In God's one single, I think there is a word missing, but I don't know. In God's one single, can its end produce, yet serves to second to some other use. So God is of course more powerful. God is all powerful. God, I mean, we take thousands of movements, we make so much effort to gain one thing at a time, and yet God can, in a single use, in a single uh, um action, produce any end, produce any effect, produce any result God wants to. But I think God will also have a tough time trying to get a government job in West Bengal, and I'm sure about it. Like, so, but then jokes apart. So God is of course like the all-powerful being, and it can create any result it wants to, he or she wants to. Yet serves to second to some other use, and even after you know creating his or her or its own results in a single action, in a single movement, it has some byproducts also. So there is a second purpose also that is served by God's first purpose. So God's purposes are strange, and if you remember Samson Agonistis, then we heard or read that the ways of God are justifiable to men. The ways of God are just and justifiable to men. So I think when God does something, and we often say this in our daily conversation, that whenever God does something, God does for the good of the person. Even if when a person's life is lost, then God must have some purpose for the poor person who has lost his or her life. Anyway, so there must be some second thing, there must be some hidden purpose in what God does. So man, who here seems principle alone, perhaps acts second to some sphere unknown. So why are we here? We are here to serve the second purpose. We are God's second purpose. We are here for some unknown reason, as it is being said that perhaps acts second to some sphere unknown. So we are working for something that we do not know yet. We are here to do something which we do not know about yet. So the Pope tackles, wrestles with the age-old question of why are we here, and he tries to satisfy himself or his audience by saying that we are here for some unknown reason. We do not know why we are here, but maybe God has some purpose for us. I don't know what that purpose is, or if there is a purpose, then I think the purpose is to annihilate all uh, objects, from annihilate every life on earth, and then I don't know what's next. Touches some wheel, or verges to some goal, it's but a part we see and not a whole. We, in our infinitely restricted imagination, we have very restricted imagination. We cannot see the entire picture. I mean, we don't see what is the reason behind something. We do not have time, or we do not have energy, intellectual energy, to question, to reason, to try to understand, to judge as to why there is something, what is the reason behind whatever is happening. So we touch some wheel, we are cogs in the machine, we activate some other part of the machine, or verges to some goal. We have some purpose. We do not know it yet, but we have some purpose. It's but a part we see. So what we see today, as I am complaining that the human beings have destroyed the earth, and they have, you know, created a chaos in the world, and we are all bad things, we should be dead and stuff like that, but we are only seeing the part and not the whole. So there is some good in the war, there is some good in whatever we have done. There is some good in clearing the forests and polluting the rivers. I don't know okay, maybe if I see it in a very dark way, maybe we are not done yet. It's just a part of the destruction that we have done. So soon we will destroy the whole earth. Perhaps we will die ourselves, or, to my horror, we might leave in another 50 or 100 years the earth fully destroyed, inhabitable for any kind of life, and then we will go to some other planet to destroy it also. Is this the whole that he is talking about? Now that is a very negative way to, that is a very pessimistic way to see things, but the way things have gone for so many years and the way things are going right now, I think this is the only explanation that I can make of this part and whole, that we have only partially destroyed our own home, but we will destroy our home completely and then seek a new home and destroy it also. When the proud steed shall know why man restrains his fiery course or drives him over the plains. Proud steed, horse. We drive a horse, we ride a horse. And when the proud steed, when the powerful, when the stout horse realizes that why does the man pull the reins, and why does man spur us, if we are running at a great speed, all of a sudden the man will pull the reins, and the horse's speed, the horse will stop. Or why does the man drive him, ride over him over the plains and covers so much distance? Because for the horse nothing makes any sense, that why is this creature riding on me, why does he have to go from here to here, what does he do, why is he doing what he is doing? We don't do this, like the horses would say, we don't do this, like we just eat and we sleep and we make babies. Man also does all these things, but they wear clothes and they smoke and they kill each other and they rape, they loot, they plunder. I think the horse does not understand why we do all these things and why we make the horse do whatever we make the horses do. But if the horse understands it, then perhaps the horse will appreciate our actions, that we take the horse, we ride the horse in order to reach our destination of work or study or pleasure or love or whatever, why for whatever reasons we ride the horse. When the dull ox, why now he breaks the clod, is now a victim and now Egypt's god. Ox is dull, according to uh, Pope, and the ox does not realize that why is he engaged in breaking the soil. Why? What is he doing? Stuck with another ox and tilling the field, going in rounds and rounds. What is? Why is he doing this? And why is the farmer whipping it so that it's a victim? But in the Egyptian pantheon, in the Egyptian theology, in the Egyptian mythology, there is a ox god, and people who are seeing Moon Night might have heard about this, but I don't know. I haven't come across a ox god in the Egyptian philosophy, but I think Pope is making up, because I don't know if there is an ox god in Egyptian mythology, but I could be wrong, and there could be one. But in India, we do worship uh, the ox, the the ox of Lord Shiva. Then shall man's pride and dullness comprehend his actions, passions, beings, use and end? So if the ox and if the horse understands why they are employed so, then can man understand in its pride and dullness comprehend, like man is dull as an ox and man is proud as a horse? If the horse or the ox can understand as to why man is employing the animals in that format, then perhaps we will also understand his actions, like God's actions, passions and beings, use and end. So we will then understand as to why we are doing what we are doing. Why are we studying English honors? Why are we here in this class? Why are we doing a class on a holiday? We will understand all of these things the day ox and the horse and the fish and the other creatures whom we victimize or whom we employ for our ends understand why they are being employed. Why doing, suffering, checked, impelled, and why this hour a slave, the next a deity. So one day perhaps we will understand that why we suffer so much. Like sometimes when we are in pain, sometimes when we are bogged down by so much of uh, care, when we are defeated, when we are just a minute. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So when we are in suffering, when we are in pain, we often try to we say this, that why are we going through this situation? Why us? Why not someone else? When we are thwarted in our actions, when we are not being able to comprehend the reason behind so much pain and so much suffering. Sometimes we are in so much. Okay, so why are we in so much pain and why are we so much in suffering? We are slaves, and the fate sometimes turns the wheel 360 degree or 180 degree, and yes, 180 degree, because 360 would bring us back to where we began. So sometimes fate or our own actions lead to some kind of thing where in an hour we are a slave, and in the next hour, maybe in the next year, we become a deity worshipped by people. So what is the reason behind all of this? How is this done? How is this being taken care of? Then say not man's imperfect, heaven in fault, say rather man's as perfect as he ought. Then say not man's imperfect. So if we have been saying this, that the man is not perfect, that man is unworthy of living here, and heaven is in fault, heaven has created, or heaven has put us in this situation, heaven has put us in problem, say rather man's perfect as he ought. So we should rather say that man is as perfect as he is supposed to be, physically or philosophically. We are created thus, and there is a purpose to whatever we are doing. There is a purpose to whatever we are um, subjected to. We are here for a purpose, and we are as perfect as God or nature has created us, and we play a crucial role in the functioning of the universe. His knowledge measured to his state and place, his time a moment, and a point his space. So one should measure the person's knowledge according to his state and place. So you don't need, since you are students of literature, you are not supposed to know everything about even English literature. You are supposed to know at least about the syllabus that you are covering. You should know what is what your syllabus is, and you should know about the poets or the texts, but you are not supposed to know everything even about that particular text. But for the examination, for the purposes of examination, for the purposes of proving that you have been studying, you will be asked some questions which the teachers, the examiners think that you would know, which you ought to know. Okay? His time a moment. So all our time in this earth, in this world, is for a moment, and we occupy a single point in space. We should not be proud of that, we should not be ashamed of that either, according to Pope. If to be perfect in a certain sphere, what matter, soon or late, or here or there? So, if you are to be perfect in a particular place, then it does not matter if you do it sooner or later, or if you do it here or somewhere else. Like, if you are good at something, and if you keep doing it, if you are passionate about it, keep doing it, and sooner or later you will achieve mastery over that particular thing that you want to do. So you will be perfect in one sphere. I mean, there is no person, I think, in this world who do not have at least one uh, attribute, at least one quality that sets him or her apart from everyone else, no matter how small or big, no matter how um, elite or common that particular attribute is. But we all could be perfect in our own spheres, and it does not matter if we do it sooner or later. If it does not matter if we do it here or in another realm, in another world. So there's a possibility that we excel, that we become perfect after we die and go into some other realm or enter into some other dimension. The blessed today is as completely so as who began 1,000 years ago. Whatever we are today, we are complete in ourselves, as those people were complete in themselves who were born 1,000 years ago. I think it means that if we look down upon our forefathers, that they were uncouth and they were ragged and they were poor, or they were bigger, or they were wiser and we are not, we all are okay, at least if not perfect. Let's not be very let's not be very optimistic. I think we are all okay in the places that we are in, and let's not compare ourselves with others. And not just 1,000 years ago, but even people, we should not compare ourselves with people who are all around us. Like, oh, my friend earns more than I do, and my friend has got more in the internals than I have, or my friend has got more in the examinations than I have, so on and so forth. Doing that will only create a sense of insecurity, a sense of uh, inferiority among us. But according to Pope, according to this poem, everything is okay in the place in which it is, and sooner or later, if we are at it, if we are continuously trying to go where we want to go, we will be there sooner or later, in this place or in some other place. Okay, so that's it with Essay on Man. I would like to move on to Epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot, which is again by Alexander Pope, and as an extract it's smaller than the other one, because I used the entire canto. I did not want to just take an extract of 200 to 250 words, as was mentioned by Shukla ma'am. But this extract is rather smaller, uh, and with that, if we are done with this, we will be left with the extracts of Hume and Locke, and then uh, another of Jonathan Swift, book 4. So just give me 5 minutes. You can take a break too, and let's not leave the meeting, or if you want to leave the meeting you can, but do come back at 11:05. Okay, just I'm taking and giving a break of 5 minutes, so it's 11:01, so 11:06 we will resume.